I'm Kevin Davis. This is the Catholic Family Podcast, and here with us a little bit of a fuzzy. I mean, oh no, there he is. He's back a little bit better there in the screen. A good friend of the show. It's been a while since we've had him on, Mr. Andy Heisman. Now, Andy was actually one of the very first podcasts. I'd say one of the first, maybe 10, maybe 20 podcasts. And honestly, I really truly have to say, and this is 2+ years later, it's one of my favorite interviews I've ever done with Andy, and that is it's called Mary's Troublemaker. You can find it if you search YouTube. I'll attach the link. I'm going to really try to remember to attach the link. It's really good. It really tells the story of Andy's journey, really from, I think Andy would say as well, from rock bottom to fighting for the faith, to fighting for Our Lady. And it's a beautiful story, and it really helps, I think, anyone who listens to it to know that, hey, no matter where you are, no matter how far you've fallen, you can pick yourself up and you can fight for it, pray to Our Lady, and find your way back to the truth and to the faith. And Andy's back today. We're going to talk about what he's been up to the last year and a half. And it's Andy's always up to trouble. It's always fun to watch him. And I know a lot of the people who watch this channel are following Andy on Telegram. If you want to follow Andy, I think that's the best place to follow him is on Telegram. He has his own I don't know what you call it, channel, I suppose, over there where you can follow everything that he's doing. You can support him, see what he's up to. I know he's also got some stuff on Facebook, but they block a lot of stuff as well. So go follow him on Telegram. And Andy, I guess I'm just going to ask you straight off. I mean, it's been a while. What have you been up to since we last talked?
Of course, it's great to see it again and catch up. I mean, time is flying at the moment. We've been up to so much, but the major issue which I'm covering at the moment is we're doing a Protect Childhood campaign, because with everything that's happened, the way everything has progressed, it's progressed so far and so sadistic right now that they are children, they are putting it into bookshops where 12 can get their hands on these books and find out how to get onto dating apps, how to upload their picture, how to upload their location, and how to find the closest homosexual, for a 12-year-old. So we've been doing serious work. I've linked up with quite a few different groups, Lawyers for Justice, a group of solicitors who have been doing a lot of work for me and helping me write up all my notice protections, which, if people have been seeing, I've been going around into libraries, into the children's sections, finding out where these books and apps are, the apps in the book, sorry, and I bring them up to the librarian and I serve them with children protection notice, which covers all the laws that's being broken in this country that protect our children from pornographic material, from these sadistic things that, it's kind of crazy what's going on, because every law that we know is being broken against our children right now, and it's all leading down to this trans culture. It really is a culture of death, if you ask me, because the life expectancy of a trans person is 42 years of age, So, and most of the suicides in the trans community are after they operate, because that's when they find out they've just ruined their lives. They've made an irreversible decision. And right now, this is really being pushed in shops, in libraries, and in school sex education. So we've got our team. I've been working with the Natural Women's Council. I've been working with the Irish Education Alliance and Lawyers for Justice, and we've all come together. And we've been doing email campaigns. We've been doing protests, and more importantly, we've been finding serious results is in our direct action in going, because we've been stonewalled with all our emails. They've been ignored, and we've emailed every TD, we've emailed every school, we've emailed every library, handing them a notice, because when we do hand them a notice, we do it as public as we possibly can, and they're forcing us to do it publicly because the parents aren't being consulted. Nobody's being consulted, and it's been just shoved down our face. We've had Pride Month, we have Pride Week, we'll have, you know, everything else that's our face is being consulted. So, you know, we have done many campaigns that has led up to our sovereign voyage. We've been under massive attack from the media, by politicians who are trying to label, like, the labels that have been coming onto me, like far right, extreme, agitator, like, you know, they're putting me up as the far right face of Ireland right now in the media. And like, I'm not far right. I'm just Andy. I'm Irish and I'm Catholic, and I'm trying to uphold their traditions of our country, you know, and that starts with the moral values. You know, they're stripping away moral values like there's no tomorrow.
Well, and that's their trick, right? That's their trick. You know, if they don't like you or anything, they just label you as something that they know that the media is going to pick up, and then the people are going to, oh, he's a fascist, oh, he's a Nazi, oh, he's far right,
Exactly.
oh my goodness, then watch out for Andy, and
Leo,
it really is, and it's well,
yeah,
and real quick, I
Leo
mean,
Varadkar,
yeah, yeah, well, and I mean, he
Leo
who rocks
Varadkar,
the cradle
our
rules,
leader.
yeah, right, he who rocks the
But
cradle
just to
rules the
say,
world, right?
yeah,
They're
yeah,
trying to
like Leo
to corrupt the
Varadkar,
children.
Leo Varadkar, our Taoiseach, has come out, and because of the direct action that we've been taking, said next they'll be born in books, and then they'll be born in people. He came out and said this publicly. Wow. About the direct action that we're taking, because they're trying to label us Nazis, fascists, book burners. You know, I'm trying to bring back everybody to the 1950s and the 1940s of that kind of thing. But they will not look at what's in the books. They will not go onto one single page of the books, you know. They won't go into one single page. So, like, everywhere I go, I have Antifa breathing down my neck into every county of this country. They post up these all over the place. Right? I'm not joking. And then
real life Robin Hood over here.
Yeah, they have other ones with me in front of like an LGBT flag and all this kind of stuff. But like, it says wanted for harassing library staff and moaning about refugees while pulling state funds for his bad back that can somehow carry a speaker. You know, I mean, it is really ridiculous if you ask me. But it's all government paid by the NGOs that have been paid millions in this country to target good Irish people who are trying to stand up and protect their children from, whether it be from the books, from the vaccines, from whatever agenda they have that's going on right now. The moment you stand up against that as an upstanding member of society, you will be tore down, you will be labelled, your name will be dragged in mud. So like, really, like, you know, it's you know, because if you want to be a good Catholic, this is go, because your name will be absolutely destroyed in one way with false accusations. I mean, I'm being called so many different, like, woman beater. I'm being called. Now they're saying that I'm beating. I bet my ex-girlfriend up who was pregnant with a Hoover. I mean, the list goes on. Oh, I'm a drug dealer. I'm a CIA agent. I'm a Garda Informer. Unbelievable. I speak about what's in this book, what's in these books. You know, it's unbelievable.
Well, I guess I'd have to ask you, Andy, why do you think, and it's purely your opinion, why is the government doing it? Why is this supported? I mean, I know this is it's a broad subject; it's hard to answer, but I mean, I'm sure people are asking that. Come on, Andy, why would the government do this? I mean, why are they doing this?
Well, you know, when people ask me that, I look at the spiritual term, you know, and over the past 3 years, we've seen this world. It's not being turned into the image of God, you know, and it's been turned into the image of Satan. And Satan is after our young children. And I mean, the books go from the age 1 to 3, okay? One of the books is called Fred Gets Dressed. And Fred is a little boy who goes to his mummy's wardrobe, and his daddy's clothes don't fit him. But all of a sudden, the mummy's clothes fit him perfect. And he's running around, and now he's a little girl running around with no pants on. So, you know, the innocence to Satan is worth more than my soul, because I'm a sinner. These little children, they're in, and that's who he wants. That's my honest opinion on that situation. And that's why we hunt and say, no, no, no. And that is what's happening in this country. The sovereign voyage has blown it out of the water by all proportions. It's been a massive success, not for me, but for every child in this country. Because now the whole country knows it's not being slipped under the carpet anymore. The Taoiseach has had to come out and write statements in the Irish Times, a letter to every librarian in the country, simply because we were near a 141-year-old boat with our paperwork going into every single library up and down this country. And it blew it out of the water. You know, it really did. Direct action like this, they had to take the books off the shelves and the shops. They're gone.
Wow.
You know, they're gone.
Well, and that's a beautiful thing, Andy, and I think that's something that we've talked about often, you know, with Disney or whatever it is, and the first point being, okay, hey, the first thing we should be most careful about is what our children are consuming, right? If it's books, if it's whatever media, movies, TV shows, that's the most important thing. And then secondly, you know, if we see something that is inappropriate, especially something that is directly immoral and damaging to our children, what should we do? What should we do? And Andy, I think that's why I love what you guys do, and I think that not everybody does. I understand that, but I think if we don't do direct action, if we don't stand up and say this cannot happen, what's going to happen, Andy? Who's going to stand up? Who's going to do it?
That's what my biggest fear is, what will happen if we don't stop it, you know, because it's going into every single school. They want to teach children all aspects of porn, you know, and this is putting it right in front of their face. Every single diagram is in the books for them to already see, you know. It only has to be played out in front of them then, you know. And they're teaching the gender ideology as fact, not as theory, you know. And we know for a fact there is only two sexes, two genders, whatever you want to call it. There's only two of them, you know. And they're going to be learning in school now 72 different types of genders. It's a mental disease which they have to take part in, called gender dysphoria, you know. So I mean, there's nothing factual. We both know this, you know, like the thoughts of me, right? I've been going around this, the banner that I have, it says it's 22 foot long, and it says there are only two genders, male and female. And I'll tell you a little story, because the banner is infamous in its own right, because we had it down in Cork. The library heard that we were coming and they closed. We put the banner up across the library on the library wall, and the Lord Mayor went to every mainstream media, radio and national TV, and said that we put the banner across the library and forced them to close, and that we're thugs, and you know, and there are all these kind of things. And they wouldn't talk about what was on the banner because it was so offensive to the trans community. So that has set us to go around the whole country with the banner outside every library, you know, and display it, you know. And when the libraries are here and coming, they either run on back or they close down for a couple of days because they can't answer simple questions regarding the laws that they're breaking. It's you only have to scratch the surface. And you only have to look at a page and see the graphic details, and you will be horrified to see what age groups these books are being offered to. So, you know, it's
Well,
it's built serious momentum.
Well, I've wondered that, Andy. I've seen that in America, I've seen it in Europe, and I've seen these things
Yeah,
being, yeah, being shared in classrooms and with young children. And I've honestly wondered that same thing. It's like, how can this possibly be allowed? I mean, legal, I suppose, is the right word, but I mean, allowed. How can
yeah,
society allow this? And as you say, maybe it doesn't. I mean, maybe it is. I mean, like we've seen the last 3 years, they just do things and just assume that no one's going to stand up for it because people these days don't really stand up for anything, right? I mean,
well,
we
you
know that,
see,
and if you
yeah,
do, they will push you into the ground, as we've seen with you, right? They will smother you and they will bash you and they will say you're a Nazi.
yeah, yeah, and that's exactly their way of controlling it. It's quite a serious situation because every law is under attack. Every fundamental human right is under attack right now, and they are specifically, not just targeting us, whether it would be, physically with the vaccine or anything like that. It's how serious they're going after our children, like, and the only way that they can protect themselves here in this is through hate speech laws. And the most rigid hate speech laws is just about to be passed in this country, where if I have any content on my phone which may be considered hate speech, well, my house can be raided, my mother's house can be raided, and everything that I own can be confiscated. You know, so
Crazy.
and then just so like this is how severe the new hate speech laws that are just about to be passed in their DAL. So but I remember what our lady said in La Salette, all will look lost, and it will only by targeting our children will they be able to hold on to the power that they have. And exactly what they're doing, they're so going after the children to keep what they have right now, and I truly believe it's all crumbling down around them. It really is. And I do see, massive revival for people that want to fight for the truth, where we haven't had that before, you know and you start to see that bit of a full circle coming in. Like, it gives me hope. I remember, you remember yourself, we've been out of the Northern Order quite a long time, and before lockdown trying to fight the Northern Order, and you're wondering, when is people going to get out and start really fighting? You look at now, so many people are aware of what's going on, even in the churches and everything else, and they feel this urgency to get out and do something, and it's picking up speed, and it's grown its own legs, because that's what the truth does. The truth just defends itself at the end of the day. People just have to see how blind they've gone, since the Second Vatican Council, you could say, because without that, there's no way they'd be targeting their children like this. There's no way abortion would be in here. There's no way any of the agenda would be in here, only for that council, which is, the root cause.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're absolutely right. I mean, modernism, you see
Yeah,
humanism. There's so many different things that lead us to where we've come, and
yeah,
I mean, and
yeah,
and and,
yeah,
and really, as you say, a lot of it. I mean, Our Lady at Fatima warned us about the errors of Russia. Communism, and a big part of communism, of course, was understanding that in order to control society, you needed to start with the youth, with the babies, not the youth. I mean, you started with the children, and I think
yeah.
Stalin was someone who said, "The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world." Right? I think that was Stalin, and I think that that's exactly what they understand. But I think you're right, and I think you're absolutely right that we know that in the end Christ will prevail. We know that truth will prevail, and I think that a lot of people see that we are in a dark time, and I think in many ways we are. The world is in a dark place, but I,
Mm,
I agree with you, Andy. I think you also see that glimmer of hope. You see that there are so many people who understand that they've gone too far. They've gone too far. Once they started to really, at least in America, maybe it's the same in
yeah.
Ireland. Once they started to really target the children, parents started to wake up and say, "Hey, wait a second.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, wait a second. This is too far." Is that the same in Ireland?
It's the very, very same here in Ireland. I mean, you don't mess with Mama Bear in Ireland, let me tell you, because they are coming out fighting. They really are coming out fighting. Like I was saying, you only have to scratch the surface with this stuff. As soon as parents are aware of what we are showing them, I mean, we've had over the Sovereign Voyage, and while we were out doing our action and we're standing on the side of the streets, people were coming over and they're believing the fake news media, but they're coming over asking honest questions, and we show them, look, here just for the children, whatever two men do themselves, that has nothing to do with me. I'm not here to stand in anybody's way, but I'm here to stand in the way and protect childhood. And look at what's in these books. And as they look and see what's in the books, they're absolutely horrified. And that's all it takes. There's no other convincing them, and it's breaking down walls which has been systematically put there by the fake news media. It's breaking through all them walls because the mama bear natural instinct comes roaring out, and the same as a father. Fathers be up and uproar as well. They need to get out into their local libraries, check them out, do things properly, burn your head off. We'll help you with the legal paper. We'll look at your laws in your country. Go in, serve them. Do it as publicly as you possibly can, and do it with love as well. For everybody, especially the children. And so much awareness around the country right now around this. Like it's gone nationwide with the work that we've done, and they're terrified. They're absolutely terrified. They're so terrified that their local TV channel, RTE, they have like this, it's called Fair City. And all of a sudden, this new character has popped up in Fair City. He was going around with leaflets and he's going around saying, oh, women shouldn't be working after they have babies and all this kind of stuff. And, go cashless and, anti-trans and all this kind of, I'm not messing. It's like they're trying to do a double of me. But they're trying to paint me out as some far-right extremist. And I'll send you the clip that was sent to me because it's 100% targeted at us, especially after they done the prime time. They done an hour documentary type of program on myself and Jana London and Slahiv, all part of our team. And they made us look like we were a bunch of librarian serial killers. They got the picture of me and Ross, and we look like we're two gangsters about to go in and rob the library, to rob a shop. Yeah. And we're literally going in to protect childhood. Like, it doesn't get any more ridiculous. I think it's hilarious now myself because but they really are trying to make us look like absolute nut jobs. But you just have to do it by the law, and that's how we know. If you're not being attacked, I can't remember which saint that said it. If you're not for what you're doing, stop doing it. Stop doing it. And it's 100% right. We're getting places with what we're doing with this work. Like we really are. It's bringing a big change.
Well, and I think, Andy, that's a big question I think a lot of people would have. And I think the people on this channel, maybe not, but maybe anyone else who's watching this, they probably wonder what are your motivations? I mean, yeah, saving the kids, yeah, that's nice, Andy. I mean, and I know you're a father, so obviously that is motivation. Yeah. I'm a father too. So I mean, that immediately it makes me really upset. It does. I mean, just that, and I know any other fathers out there, it should be at least immediately upset by what we see, and it's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know that aside from that, I mean, what does your faith, how does that play a part in what you do? I mean, and I know people, again, and this is again, as you say, after Vatican II, especially, you have this wishy-washy Catholicism, right? You have this, be nice to everybody and kindness and gentleness. It's like, yeah, okay, that's true. That's true. Christ was gentle and kind. And he also knocked over the people at the temple. I mean, there was also a justice. There was a just anger. I mean, sometimes you can't just be nice. Sometimes you do have to fight. Look at the Crusades. I mean, there are plenty of examples of that. And so how does your faith play a part in what you do?
Well, you hit the hammer on the nail when you're talking about justice. When my faith, obviously, I've been growing in my faith, and when you see the injustice of what's going on around you, and what I went through myself, even at the beginning of the injustice of not being able to see my kids and not be a father to them, the injustice of seeing my kids being affected by the agenda and not being able, the powerlessness I have to not being able to do anything. So, see all these injustice which has been caused in my own personal life has just put a drive in me that if I can't do it in one way, I have to do it in another. And the way that they have set up for me in this country right now is set up against me. Fathers don't have any rights in this country. Fathers are kicked to the curb. Fathers don't have a choice in abortion. Fathers don't have any whatsoever over what happens to their children. So we have to make a new way. And I don't know where God gives it to me. God gives me the courage and the strength and the belief, because I know He's with me. As long as I'm doing something in truth and I'm doing something I believe is for His glory, well, then I know there's nothing that can stop me. And I just have to have perseverance. I've nothing else to live for but do this. And that is, I can't put it any other way, only that this is my life. I'm full time at what I'm doing. I can't think of anything else other than pushing this back for me kids. And otherwise, I just want to be left alone. I don't want to be out in the public eye. But the public eye right now is protecting me, and I need that protection because they are coming after me. I do have charges hanging over my head. They already put me into prison already for 2 months on trumped up charges, and they're still coming after me. So, being in the public eye the way I am, able to defend myself the way I am with me cameras and everything else, and that is the truth. No, there's nothing there of what's going on, because it has got very serious over here with the magnifying glass. Is seriously not just on me, but the other members of our team who are doing amazing work, amazing work out there. And we're breathing courage into the country. There's so many people out there now. They've been getting in contact. We're giving them the paperwork. They're going into the libraries, and it's happening all over the country. And we're going to do the same with the schools. We're not going to stop until we know every child in this country is safe. How long that's going to take, I don't know. But we're there. We're in it to win it. That's all I can say. We are in it to win it. Whatever they try to do.
Well, and I think it's that, it's that, I guess, that self-sacrifice, and that what's the phrase, that all cares to the wind, I suppose, that I think is
Yeah.
it is kind of what we need at times. I mean, I think because we really see, and I think again, there are times where you do have to be careful if you can't throw yourself into too much danger, etc. You go to prison, you can't support your family, etc. I understand that, but I do think we do take that sometimes too far, and we get too comfortable, we get too easy, we get too settled into where we are, and we see these problems in the world, if it be with a certain virus, if it be with our children, if it be with any immorality. I mean, for example, Andy, I mean, I've had a couple of times where I've seen signs of, like, let's just say homosexual signs, and I could have torn them up. I could have found whatever way to tear them down, and they were behind glass, so it wasn't easy, but I could have done it. And I even thought about it. I sat there and I was like, I should do this because this is a scandal. This is something that really could cause sin. It really could. It is an evil thing. And I thought about it and I didn't do it. Now, this was a couple of years ago. Now, so my question is now, if I cross that now, would I do it? Would I risk it? And Andy, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't know. I'm not going to puff up my chest and say,
Well,
yeah, come on,
let me tell you,
I'm a tough guy, but I appreciate it when I see people who do.
I can answer that question for you, right? Because there's a member of my team, and actually that he went in, he ripped it down. Mannequin, it was on a mannequin. The mannequin went spinning around in the shop, and the case is being sent to the DPP. We're still waiting to hear on these kind of things, but as frustrating as that is, and that is righteous anger. There is nothing wrong with that righteous anger. It's just how we direct it.
Right.
We have to get smart in fighting this enemy. So we need to reclaim that flag. We need to reclaim God's rainbow. We need to reclaim his truths. And if that means that we have to get out with our boards and our little flags to show that, like, no, if there's somewhere there with a flag, go there with a board, that says one of God's truths that counteracts what that flag means, and we get our message out there. And that's what I believe will counteract it. Let them try and do what they want. I don't take any notice when they're doing what they're doing. I concentrate on what I can do will reach people, because I know I can go in, I can rip a flag out of the shop, and that will make me feel better. But it's not heavy. But I know I can get out there with the message and help people. Whether it's I'll get 50 leaflets printed up, and I'll start there, and there's 50 houses in my community, and I'm going to post a leaflet in every house. Whether it be about Vatican II, whether it be about education, not indoctrination, whether it be about anything that you feel is a touchy subject that you feel people are being misled on. It's that simple. And when you start doing the simple things like that, you get more courage. You get more and more courage, where you're able to get out and you're like, you know what? This is fun. There's a whole new life. I mean, for the work that I'm doing, I feel like I have the best job in the world. I love doing what I hate doing what I do, but I absolutely love doing what I do, because there's so much reward that just makes you feel good knowing that you're out there doing something, and the feeling that there's no money. You can't buy that feeling. You just can't, And that's
Well,
when
Andy, I have to say, you sound way too level-headed for a fascist, crazy person. I'm a little disappointed here. I was kind of hoping for fire and brimstone. Let's go take torches to the city hall type thing. But I'm afraid your enemies are not going to be happy with that. It's very, very level-headed, and a good advice. I mean, I think you're totally right, and I think that's exactly what you're saying is exactly what they don't want to be said. I mean, when you see, we saw this in America. Now, I got to be really careful, because we may already be censored on YouTube because of this video, but something that happened, in January a couple of years ago, whatever the event that happened, whatever was going on, some certain organizations determine if you're going to have if you're going to stand up for something, you're going to say, hey, this isn't going to happen. What they do is they really do. They send in a 3-letter agency in America, at least in Ireland, probably as well. And they make it, go crazy. They take torches to things, they throw bricks through windows. And this is proven stuff, Andy. This sounds like conspiracy theory. It's not. This has happened, and it is absolutely unquestionably documentedly happened. And this is what they do. So they want us to go crazy. They want us throwing bricks. They want us burning down buildings. And exactly as you say, that's why we cannot do it. We have to stay calm. And exactly as you say, stay calm, follow the law, and bring it to them where it hurts. And that is literally just bringing them the truth. Hey, parents, look at this book. This is what you want your kids to read this, and that's enough.
That's how easy it is. And like, they put up these flags. You're dead right. They do it to trigger you. They're trying to trigger you and use the law against you. Look at him. He's anti-homo. He's homophobic. He's anti-this. He's anti-that. Put the hate speech laws on him, and it's specifically to target Christians. And it really knows how, as I just said, it's worked on a member of my team that we're going to keep him out of trouble in anyway, the best we can. But it's how easy it happens. we just have to be really careful in what we're doing and use the law. Everything that I have done, I use the law. On the Sovereign Voyage, we were under a serious attack. We had Antifa following us into every single town, beating on us. They were on bridges, throwing stones at us. They stole the boat, broke the engine. They attacked us many different times, you know, when we had to physically defend ourselves. You know, it was literally something out of a movie. We were on the boat, we have shields, you know, it's crazy stuff. But all to stop that simple message, you know. It was a when you look back at it, and like all we were doing is exposing what's in these train of thought, because I was literally, I could see the head in what they were doing, because what is it getting videos, they'd attack me, and then as we're defending ourselves, they're taking pictures which unconscious, you know, use that. So it looks like there's one picture, there's this woman and she's absolutely possessed, you know, she is possessed, and I'm standing there as cool as day, and she tries to grab me hat off me head, you know, and tries to rob it. It looks like I could have had her, I was pushing her down in the when you look at the freeze, it looks like I'm choking this old woman, you know, and all I was doing was trying to get me hat back, all in one move, like, you know. But when you freeze it, it looks like I'm holding her down, you know. So I mean, just a moment, but every fall and flat in their face, because we record everything there for our safety and theirs. We have to have cameras rolling all the time. Even Ross Lahoyev was in Cork City, and he approached the Lord Mayor, who went around, spoke loads of lies about us libraries. And when he approached the Lord Mayor and asked the Lord Mayor very politely, would you like to speak about the lies that he spoke on the mainstream media? And the Lord Mayor broke out into a musical, singing, "Oh, what a glorious evening, oh, what a glorious day." And like, he finally realized that Ross wasn't going anywhere until he wanted to get an answer to his question. So the Lord Mayor slapped the phone out of his hand. The phone goes flying into the air and hits a bystander in the head. Right? I'm not joking. The Lord Mayor of, okay, you can literally go Google this, and you you know, because we have all videos, we have them all out there. There's no comment from the Lord Mayor. In the, you'll see, oh, Lord Mayor handled with brilliance. This is how to handle them.
Crazy. It's unbelievable, Andy, and it really is something that as we've followed what you've been doing, it is something that, as you mentioned, it feels like it's kind of from a movie or something. It doesn't seem real. And that, mentioning that, I mean, I know you've published some of these videos from the maiden voyage. I mean, where can people find that?
Well, trouble there, because I'm having videos taken down with all the attacks, especially in Leo Varadkar's sites right now. My TikTok channel on, I'm getting videos taken down on YouTube. I'm getting taken down on BitChute, on Facebook as well. I'm having problems. I can't upload anything up onto Instagram. I'm having trouble there. The only place where I seem to get away with it right now is Telegram, and all my videos, which I'm still working on at the moment. I've literally just put up episode 4 of our voyage. That's gone up there today, and I'll be putting out more. I've loads of unseen footage, really brilliant footage, which will be telling the whole story from start to finish, in a kind of in episodes of like nearly an hour long each. But they're pretty good, like, you know. It's been an epic adventure. Everybody, I just want to say that, you know, the crew made it work. You know, everybody knew what we had to do. Everybody was focused on the children, and they were focused on making sure that voyage was a massive, massive success. You know, you can't do something like this on your own. You know, as much as we want to try and do things on our own, we have to learn to work with each other. We have to learn to respect each other, and and work for that goal. And we're doing it over here. And look at what we're able to do. I have no boat. I have no money. I have absolutely nothing in my pocket, and yet we're able to do these things when you resource and fight for a common goal. So it can be done. You know, I truly believe God has shown us we can do anything with nothing as long as we have Him.
It's a beautiful sentiment, and I mean, and that's something that, first of all, anybody who's interested in following Telegram, I know probably most people know that it's an app. You can download the app. It's kind of like WhatsApp, Signal. It's a messaging app that you can download from Apple or from whatever phone you have. Just go in and type in Telegram. It'll download it, and then search Andy Heasman. Now I have to say this is actually kind of funny because to do this show, I messaged you, asked me to message you on Telegram, and I messaged an Andy Heasman on Telegram. During our show, I got a message. I said, first of all, I asked you, I said, hey, Andy, is this the right channel? I got a message saying, yes, how are you doing? I'm pretty sure that probably wasn't you responding as we were talking here saying, hey, how are you doing? So be a little careful. There are clearly other channels out there who are trying to pretend to be Andy Heasman that are not actually Andy.
I am being attacked left, right, and center. There is hundreds of fake accounts, and like I can't keep up with them myself. Like everybody is texting me, Andy, is this you? Is this you? Is this you? I'm like, no, delete it. The Chinese Andy Heasman on Twitter, and he was copying me. Like it just it gets so ridiculous that they do that. People go try and come up with loads of Andy Heasmans, and it's all my picture, and they won't know where to find me. Right. So this is why they do it. They have teams of bots. They're going to all my videos. They report everything. They make fake accounts, and they are being paid to do it. Like that's the kind of censorship that I'm under. Like once one account goes to me, I'll be back with another. There's no stopping me. I'm just I'm the whack-a-mole that way. You know?
Well, and that's a big reason why I wanted to do this podcast, was first to get your story, but also to make it so that people can follow you, not some Chinese Andy Heasman. But we'll definitely, I'll get your proper link, and then I will definitely share it in this podcast so that people can see exactly where to follow you. Because again, I think it's, you know, first of all, anyone in Ireland or anywhere around the world, I think it is a good message that we should be doing everything we can to protect our children. I mean, I'm a father, so I completely understand that. I think any other parents would as well. And I think as well, it's just I think, Andy, what I appreciate is that our world, if it needs anything, it needs fighters. And this is exactly, and I mean, you'll hear this, the media will tell you exactly the opposite, right? Toxic masculinity. I mean, Andy Heasman is the devil. I mean, these types of things, it's because the last thing they want is men who stand up for what is right. That's it. Men, women too, but especially men. Especially men. They do not want men to stand up for what is right, and they will do everything they can to stop it. And I think that's exactly why we want to support you. That's why we want to support anybody you see. If you know somebody who's standing up for the truth, really, and really sacrificing their own good for the truth, then support them in any way you can. And again, go follow Andy on Telegram. Andy, is there any other way that people can support you, or is that the best to go follow you on Telegram?
They can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm putting stuff up on all accounts the best I can, but you know, so at the moment where I'm kind of uncensored would be Telegram, but you will see me quite a lot on Facebook. So on Facebook, like that, but I try and share everything around anyway. But you will get me on basically most all platforms. But the best one at the moment for me, I'm under so much censorship, it's just been Telegram, where I haven't had videos taken down yet.
Got it. Well, Andy, we appreciate it. I mean, I always love hearing from you. I hope that maybe months from now we'll talk again and see what you're up to and see
Oh,
if hopefully you're still able to talk with us. And I know again, I know I really do understand what you're putting at risk. You're really putting yourself at risk, and I deeply appreciate that. I know many of my listeners do as well. That sometimes in these great fights, these these times of struggle and the ugly days that we live in, some people need to sacrifice themselves, and I think that is how it is. And we hope and pray that if that sacrifice is done, it's done for the right reasons, it's done for God. And I think that Andy is a godly man. I think everyone please pray for Andy and for his team, and
I
that they
appreciate that.
that truly that they
Just
that they
saying
find success in what
that
they're doing.
the attacks that we're under, they're not normal attacks. We're working against the occult here. We're working against witches and warlocks who are out in the open fighting against us. This is no word of a lie, and I see the effects of what to do, be on myself or on my team, and how it affects everything that we do. It is a real spiritual battle that we're against. Make that no mistake about that. And just on the other point, there's no better thing you can do than give your life for your friends. That's what Jesus said, And them words are also very inspiring for me, because that's what I want to do. I want to do the will of God. And in these times, we have to be a real fighter to do the will of God, because everything is set up to take down God's kingdom.
Amen to that. And I think again, I think people hear witches and warlocks and they think that's ridiculous. It's not. It's really not. I mean, I've done a whole series. Anyone who followed the series I've done with Intro Ebo, it absolutely exists. I mean, the occult is
Yeah,
very
yeah,
real, but the
yeah.
devil
And they,
worshiping Satanist, it's very real. It's disturbing,
yeah, it
scary.
very affects people. And if you're not in a state of grace, and if you're not praying every day, you won't last long in this game. That's all I can say, because you will be dragged out of your debt through your own temptation. I mean, they know how to go after you spiritually. So just to say that is that I do appreciate every single prayer that we can get out there right now. I'm always asking me priest, me father understands what we're going through. Master said for me crew, and all the work that we're trying to do. But we do need as much prayer as we possibly can. So thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, everyone, please again pray for Andy, pray for his team. Andy, what are your last words for, I don't know, for parents, I suppose, for people out there who are maybe they're disillusioned with the world. They see, oh, it's kind of bad. The world's not going great. America's not as bad as Ireland or Germany where I live. It's not so bad. What are your words for them?
Well, if you're thinking it's not so bad, go and look at the work that I've been doing and see for yourself what's happening on our children. I'm just about to set up a paedophile protection team across the country that will catch these paedophiles that are going after our children on these dating apps. We need parents to stand up for our children now. This is what's happening. Paedophiles are being caught every single day, targeting 12-year-old children every day, every single day. It's real. It's right in front of us. This is the child trafficking that's happening in our country. They're trying to take your child and mine to everybody. So it's real, and it doesn't get any realer than this. It really doesn't. And that's, for all. And if that doesn't, the fighting parents, because it's not the fighting Irish anymore. It's the fighting parents. Because once they see what's in this and what's happening, they will come out swinging. That's really my message to the parents, to go look deeper down the doctor, homeschool. Otherwise, they will succumb to the Marxist agenda, because it's all up.
Amen to that, Andy. Thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
hope that everyone else does as well. And please pray for Andy, support him. Go follow him on Telegram. Definitely share his stuff because I mean, as we know, it's going to be censored, so nobody is going to help him. There's not going to be any algorithms that are pushing Andy Heisman material. So it's only going to get pushed if you push it. So definitely like,
Thank you.
share, comment, all that stuff. It really does help. I mean, that kind of stuff does push the algorithms. It does help. It does help spread the message. It doesn't matter if you're in America, Mexico,
No.
China. It will help the algorithms in Ireland and across the world because that's exactly what we're aiming for, to get the message across and to help save as many children as we can and save innocence. Andy, that's a whole nother topic that someday we'll go on, maybe with you, somebody else, the innocence of children and how our society it's not just that they don't care. It's like our society actively tries to ruin the innocence of our children, and that it's a travesty. It's
Normalize.
a tragedy. Yeah, normalize it. It's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's something that we cannot stand by. We cannot just let it happen, and so we need to
No.
fight. And well, Andy is
Yeah.
one of those guys out in the front lines doing that. So, Andy, until next time, we'll definitely hopefully get an update with you sometime in the future.
Oh yeah.
And until then, we'll
Anytime.
definitely
Anytime.
follow your progress. Awesome.
Thank you
God
very
bless you,
much,
Andy.
Kevin. Good.